Okay. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, Reed.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. Welcome to episode 2,
Thanks.
also known as our second episode. I should start and admit to you I have some bad news.
Okay.
I just drank like a spritzy water.
Is that why you're all burpy?
I didn't think I was burpy. I just thought. That's nice of you to notice. But that's what I thought might might cause a problem, but since I was thirsty, it was actually kombucha.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it was a rainbow colored can of Love Kombucha.
I love that one.
Yeah. So that's my news. So this is Mouth Sounds, our podcast. This is the second episode. And that's just what we're doing. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
Okay. So do you want to say anything else, for the new listener, what is Mouth Sounds about?
Mouth Sounds is a father-son podcast where my dad and I make a podcast about random stuff. We review stuff. We don't talk about our feelings. We keep those inside.
Right.
And then we just kind of talk, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's compelling. Okay, so the review of the week.
Yeah.
Or the review of the episode. Last time it was Black Widow, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The dog's coming in the room because she
wants to make a podcast.
Come on in, Nina.
Hi, Nina.
Hi.
Would you like to say anything to the podcast?
All right.
Good.
Okay, this is live. Great. Okay, why don't you lie down?
I love you too. Lie down.
Good girl. Okay, so last time it was Black Widow, the movie, which we thoroughly
Enjoyed.
reviewed and enjoyed. The dog is now yawning next to us and wagging her tail. This time, the review, we got takeout last night,
Mm-hmm.
and you got
Fish and chips.
fish and chips,
As always.
as always. And originally, one of our ideas was to just have you review a different fish and chips entree from a different restaurant each time. And then the blog could have been called Fish and Chips and Root Beer, because often you get root beer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the dog
Yeah.
chewing on her foot and just worried about what she'll start licking or doing next.
Yeah.
Good girl, Nina. So,
It's great content.
Yeah.
Do
do you want to start over or just
That's
keep
fine.
going? Okay.
You can edit it if you want.
No, that's got to be live. So, but we didn't dedicate an entire podcast to just reviews of fish and chips, but we had reviews in general. But we should pay homage to the fish and chips theme.
Mm-hmm.
So how was your fish and chips last night?
It was good. We got it from Roosters. It's a local brewery here in town. Not a sponsor.
Right.
But if they want to be,
Well, that's a good idea.
they can give me fish and chips. Because I like their fish and chips.
Okay. We'll come back to the idea of sponsors. Let's not forget.
Yeah, so I have this thing where I always get fish and chips everywhere because I feel like they're a pretty reliable thing to get. So yeah, they were good. The fish was all flaky and good. There wasn't too much batter on it, which was also good. I like it with tartar sauce and malt vinegar.
Yep.
The dog is licking my toes.
Yep. Just for context, in case you can hear that mouth sound, that's the dog's mouth
It's the dog's mouth.
on Reed's foot.
Thanks, Nina.
Thanks, Nina. Good girl.
Okay. Yeah.
And this can be any restaurant. You just decide, I'll get the fish and chips. And now it's not just a running gag. It's just like it never was. It was funny to us. It was never funny to you. It's just what you get.
Yeah, now it's kind of an obligation. But I do like them. It's just like if a place has fish and chips, that's what I check for
So
first.
what do you like about fish and chips?
They're good. I
like them too.
Yeah.
I don't order them all the time.
Yeah. Well, I like seafood in general, and I think it's a hard kind of seafood to mess up. So even if it's not a great fish and chips, it's still pretty good.
And yet, you have reviews of other fish and chips that are not so good.
Yeah. Well, like you can still mess them up, which then makes the reviewing kind of fun.
So what makes for bad fish and chips?
So the ratio of fish to batter
Yeah.
has to be good. So not too much batter, because then that gets weird. Yeah. I think a lot of the times, if the fish is like thicker or chewier, has a weird texture, that's not as good.
Okay.
And then the chip part, the fries, I've had people who do like shoestring fries.
That doesn't sound right.
That's not good. You gotta do like the steak fries or the classic chips.
Yep.
So.
And the ones I saw you have yesterday looked like they had like crispy, kind of crumbly fry, whatever, on the outside.
The fish?
It looked like on the fries. They looked like a rugged fry, like they'd seen. They'd had some experience where they were just extra kind of crispy.
Yeah, but they weren't crunchy either. Which is
Okay.
good.
So crunchy, but not too crunchy in the batter, and the fish should be flaky but not weird.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a choice between halibut and cod or something else, do you have a go-to?
Usually the cod. So that's what most people use.
Yep.
So then you get a pretty standard thing. You don't have to worry about getting. So then if you're comparing them, it's pretty typical.
So this is this goes back to the reviews.
Sure. Yeah.
Well,
if you're trying to decide the best fish and chips, then you got to make sure that you're comparing
but
them.
some places I see there's like you can, if it's a fancy place, like we might go to, like the fast food joint down on 12th Street,
mm-hmm.
you can choose halibut or cod.
Yeah.
And the halibut's more expensive.
Mm-hmm. But the halibut's more often chewier.
And that's no good.
Yeah.
Okay. So cod, fish and chips, enough batter but not too much, crispy, no
mm-hmm.
weird textures.
Yeah.
Any other features?
There's
There's the malt vinegar. Sorry.
Gotta have the malt vinegar, in my opinion.
And you usually have to ask for it.
Yeah, they offer ketchup every time, but they don't usually just offer the malt vinegar.
They're just, I don't even know how they were raised if they're offering ketchup on your fish and chips.
Yeah.
So last week, as you'll recall,
mm-hmm.
I was away at the coast on order of 1,000 miles away from here, and you were here.
Yeah.
And I got fish and chips at the beach.
Nice.
But they were terrible.
Oh, where'd you go?
It's kind of a major establishment, so I don't really want to say.
Oh.
Because of all the people who
Right.
would listen to this. So let's just call them Joe's.
Yeah.
Joe's famous clam chowder. And the fish and chips just was not, it was not even as good as you get here in the middle of the desert at a fast food place.
So what made them not good.
So the proportion of batter to fish was overdone. The fish seemed extra thin. And the fries were kind of not quite soggy, but not crisp. It was just, and then there was tartar sauce, but we did get it to go, so I didn't have a chance to ask for malt vinegar. But
that might have screwed it up a little bit.
Yeah. Do you use tartar sauce?
Yeah.
Lemon?
Yeah.
All three?
Yeah. Lemon squeezed over and malt vinegar over the entire thing, not just fries. And then the tartar sauce, especially for the fish, but if you feel fancy and want to dip a fry in, that's also good.
Okay. As a special treat,
Yeah.
you can dip your fry in the tartar sauce.
Yeah.
Okay. So, someday we need to just, as we've discussed, we need to go to the UK and just go from one place to another and just get fish and chips as Jesus intended them to be and do it right. But we haven't gotten to do that yet.
Yeah, so listeners should be aware that all the fish and chips I've tried have been American versions of fish and chips. They're probably not the best if you are a fish and chips expert.
Yeah, the connoisseurs from the UK.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put that on our list. Okay, so questions. You want me to go first?
Sure.
So my question for you, what is your favorite trip ever taken and why?
My favorite trip was my first backpacking trip to the Wind Rivers, where we saw the solar eclipse in 2017. I'm not a huge backpacking fan, but that was a pretty good trip. It was
So you said it was a pretty good trip. I burst into laughter because that was like, well, what made it good for you?
It was, so I got to see the solar eclipse, which, that's pretty cool. And like, it's a thing none of us had seen before, I don't think.
Right. I'd been in one, but I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, because your kindergarten teacher was mean.
First grade teacher.
First grade
kept
teacher.
us inside. Yep.
Yeah, and then I think that excitement of seeing that kept me excited for the whole trip, so that was good. And it was the first time I had done a big backpacking trip. Like, I had done overnight stuff and like 2-day trips, I think, but that was the first one. That was a big trip. It was like 5 days or something like that.
Yep.
And so that was cool to show to myself that I could do something like that if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like my favorite thing, I know I can do that.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So backpacking isn't your favorite thing, but that was your favorite trip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Which then I think kind of makes other backpacking trips hard to compete with.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you've had this
Yeah.
amazing thing. Now have this other one compete with that.
Right. I guess that's fair. Like, I really wanted you to come on this upcoming backpacking trip that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
But you're working.
Yeah.
So I was really disappointed. And that's fine. But yeah, you're right. Like, no other backpacking trip will compare. I can't.
Yeah, I think I can
set up a
only
solar
go.
Eclipse.
I think I can only go on backpacking trips with solar eclipses now.
Like, what if it's a partial eclipse?
I don't know. I've never experienced those.
You have. You just didn't notice.
Oh.
Yeah. You don't even remember. But I've had you look through the eclipse glasses at partial eclipses before.
Yeah.
You were
and
younger.
The little sun tent thing.
Oh, yeah,
I
the
don't know.
little projector. Yeah, projected the image of the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So, you'd, like I was alluding to before, you said that was good, and I kind of broke down, hiccuped a little bit in my own emotions, because that was like one of my top 4 life experiences, other than getting married and you and your sister being born.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 2 different, and then this, like that, those all are in the same. So yeah, it's a pretty good choice for a best trip.
Cool.
Not that I'm judging, but you could have had others, but that's a good one. Okay. Yeah, we could go on and on about that.
Yeah.
That was a
We can
good trip.
review that one.
Yeah, we could review each day and each person of the party and how that went. Maybe if on this episode we should post a picture from that trip.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
Can do the one where John's pointing it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So the person before they listen to the podcast will wonder what that's all about. And even after listening, will wonder what that's all about. We'll leave it as a mystery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You ready for my question?
I'm ready.
Okay. So, as you know, I like getting pets.
Yeah.
I have, in our house right now, we have a puppy, which is a family puppy, and then 2 cats, and then 5 chickens out in the backyard, and a couple thousand bees.
Tens of thousands of bees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because my dad and I are beekeepers. So knowing that I probably can't have another pet, what would be the best animal for me to get, in your opinion? Like, in addition, we're not canceling out any
I
of
feel like this is a loaded question because you say, like, knowing I can't, but what if I could? Like, I could say something and then you say, oh, Dad said I should get a I don't know, like whatever, a Wolverine.
I don't want a Wolverine.
Okay.
I think that would hurt Puppy.
Right. Puppy who is now
Being
resting
very good.
very well. So we should have just brought her in from the start.
Good girl.
Yeah,
Well, that's why I phrased it that way, so.
I feel like this is going to come back and haunt me sometime. So what do I think would be best for you to adopt as a pet?
Yeah. Knowing that it will live in your house or in your backyard, and that I also go to college.
Yeah, that was my next question. So not a pet that you'd take with you to a dorm room.
I can't have pets in my dorm room. Well, I guess I could have like a fish.
Right. But you're not you think best that we would hang on to here while you're away for 9 months out of the year at school.
Yeah.
This is a terrible idea.
To help you not miss me.
But you just said this was hypothetical. So now you're hedging it like, like, oh, so I won't misread. I'll get this.
I also have like 8 other pets.
Yeah. So I think your favorites are cats.
Mm-hmm.
But you shouldn't get another cat because the other 2 would like hate you forever, hate the other cat and hate you.
Yeah, especially Min Min.
Yeah, she's just cranky about everything.
Yeah.
Which is kind of her superhero power.
Yeah.
So I don't think it should be a cat. We have a wonderful dog here.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it should be a dog.
I don't want another dog.
Okay, so I'm...
Because again, I don't think the cats would like that.
Right. So I'm really stumped because in those considerations, you know what I think? Since you mentioned bees, I think we should have another hive of bees.
Yeah.
Because that would be, they wouldn't miss you too much. And
it's no additional work for you.
It's the same. We just have to find the space next to the hive we already have. And then, because we often, like it's 50-50 if we'll overwinter the bees or if they'll die, then we have a backup hive all the time. And we'll just be doubled up on that effort. So I think another beehive is your perfect pet.
What about a goat?
But we don't have room. I think a goat is a great idea, but we don't have room, nor is there, like we'd be breaking the law, the ordinance, this local ordinance. Did I ever tell you that there's, like, it is legal for us to have chickens, but if you look at the ordinance, you know, they changed it so that we can't have chickens. But there's also like this line that says, but not, and then they list all of the things you can't have. And they actually say, but not a wolverine.
What?
And not an alligator, and not a crocodile, and not a whatever. Like they list all these ridiculous things as if
they've had to add it in because someone was like, you didn't say I couldn't.
Right. Well, I didn't know I couldn't have a crocodile. I thought that would be fine. And they have to write that one in. But we can't have bees. You're a licensed beekeeper. Which, I don't know. Have you renewed? Well, maybe we shouldn't broadcast that. But I need to look into that before you leave. Yeah. And anyway, so the bees are legitimate and legal.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. How do you feel about that?
That's good. Bees are always good because, you know, they're dying. And they're cute and fluffy and adorable.
They really are. You handle them really well. Yeah. I've gotten more calm around them, and I will pick them up in my hands, but I don't. I've also gotten stung more than you, so I'm a little more hesitant.
Well, it's probably why I'm better with them, because...
You're better with them because you haven't been stung?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a cycle, though. Yeah.
I'm totally comfortable with them when I'm covered up.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've solved all of these things. So we'll sign out, but we realized after our last episode that lots of podcasts have sponsors, but we don't. And then I wondered what else we don't have that other podcasts have. I don't know if you've noticed, but there are other podcasts out there. We're not the first one.
I think I've heard of some of them.
Yeah. So who should be our sponsors? Like, I'm not actually going to ask them to be our sponsors, but like, who would be a good sponsor for this podcast?
Are you wanting like real businesses or?
Yeah, like the coffee shop you work for, Cafe Mercantile. Get your cup of Joe at Cafe Mercantile. Like, we'd have a little spin for...
I mean, they do kind of sponsor me because I work for the... Well, that's more of... That's really a job. Yeah.
Yeah. Or Lavender Vinyl. I think Lavender Vinyl would be a good sponsor.
They have their own podcast, though.
Right. Well, yeah. Those people do... Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could sponsor them in spirit, and they could sponsor us in spirit.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. And then we'd play vinyl records.
We already do that.
Yeah, but on the podcast.
Like on the podcast.
Yeah, because other podcasts have intro music, which we don't have.
You could have your band sponsor the podcast.
Oh, did I tell you I'm in a band?
I did know that.
Yeah.
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 You could write something with your band. And that could be our music.
To be the intro.
Yeah.
And the outro music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because right now it's just us like, hey, is this thing on?
You ready to start?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, that's nice. That would sound really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to put down other podcasts, but there's a lot of bad intro, outro podcast music.
Yeah.
Out there. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to contribute to that.
But I think it's worse if there's just two people just kind of going, okay, we're done. The end.
Okay. Well, that's awkward now that we're at the end of our podcast.
No, I'm supporting your idea of having music.
Right, but we are literally recording right now and need to finish this episode, and we don't have any music.
Next episode.
So, okay. Maybe. We'll work on it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the end of this one. Thanks for listening. Thanks for talking to me, not about feelings.
Yeah, thanks.
Keep your feelings inside.
Sounds good.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.